So I have to say, this is a little bit of a dream come true because I'm a massive Snow Patrol fan. And just to sort of put you in the picture, Gary, to how big a fan I am, I've been dying to tell you this story. I went all the way from here, from Belfast to Killarney, returned, didn't sleep a wink, went straight to work the next day. And then I think it must have been about maybe 2 weeks after you released tickets for Belfast.
Sorry about that.
That's all right, it's fine. You're forgiven.
Appreciate you going down to Killarney.
Yes, it was a long trip, but it was very, very worth it. I want to talk, I've got a good 20 minutes with you here, so I want to say, what does it mean to you and the rest of Snow Patrol to be honoured with the Legend Award, which of course is happening next month at the Ulster Hall? What does it mean to you guys?
Well, it means a lot. You know, the bands that have won it in the past. You know, it's a list of bands that I've loved so much. I mean, the Undertones and Ash and Therapy and Stiff Little Fingers, and the great Terry Hooley. You know, who actually presented his award to when he won it. So it's a list. It's a dream list to be on. You know?
You mentioned Terry Hooley. I mean, when I first moved here, my favourite film, I think I watched it 8 or 9 times, Good Vibrations. Are you a fan of the film?
Yeah, I was involved, yeah.
Oh, were you involved in the film? I did not know that. What was your involvement with the film?
We're executive producer.
Right, okay. Oh,
we put money into it and helped a little bit along the way. But, we nothing to do with the actual filming of the film. You know, that was all people that knew what they were doing. They very much, you don't get us in to direct a film. That's for damn sure. So
Ulster Hall, have you got a speech at the ready?
No.
Oh, I was going to get you to do a wee dry run. People that you want to thank.
No, I'm not going to thank anybody.
No? Oh, come on.
Of course I'm going to thank people.
So you wouldn't cry, but are you kind of, would you say you're quite an emotional guy? You're not going to do like a Gwyneth Paltrow and...
No, they were very kind to give me an award last year, and they played a little sort of video montage before it, and I was totally fine before the video montage, and then I went, and then they go, okay, and now I come up and get your award. I'm like, what? After that, people saying nice things about you, so I was a little emotional then, but I know what I'm in for this time, so I'll
How are you when people do compliment your work? Because I'm sure
Not
you've
great.
had so many. No, you're not good at taking compliments.
No.
Okay, right. I'll try and keep that. But I want to compliment because honestly, your work's so good, and I'm going to get to Chasing Cars soon. But the Sound of Belfast starts a week today. So how important are events like this?
I think very important. I mean, it shows the broad spectrum of talent that's in this country, and it's an extraordinary time in Northern Irish sort of culture. It sort of holds it holds back the kind of the rivers of negativity that are kind of flowing in this direction. It's like it's something to be proud of. It's something to be grateful for. It's something that brings joy. The Belfast music scene, the Belfast arts scene in general, the Northern Irish, Northern Irish art scene, Northern Irish music scene. It's it's just full of extraordinary bands and artists, and I'm very, very proud to be a part of it. Very, very proud to be from this wee country.
That's what I was going to say. For such a small country, it's produced some fantastic artists. Can you talk us through the NI Music Prize and what it means to the winner? Can you tell us a little bit about what it is?
Well, we've never won one, but I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means to win one. It is, it's a celebration of Northern Irish music. There's some great albums on the list this year. Saint Sister, fantastic record. Ryan Bale's record is a masterpiece. Two Door Cinema Club, Soak. I mean, there's so many great records. And the best single is another great category with lots of depth in it. Jealous of the Birds, one of my favorite acts in Northern Ireland at the moment, is in there. The best new artist, and Strange New Places, who we work with, is up for that. So that's exciting for Third Bar, which is a company that myself and Davy Matchett and Candice Cathers run. So we have an artist in the running for an award, which is great fun for us.
You spoke about great singles, Chasing Cars, most played song on the radio. I can definitely vouch for that. I'm sure that is right, and it's one of the most listened to songs of the 21st century. What was the inspiration behind the song? Because I thought, I don't know if I'm right in this, but was it something to do with a house party in Glasgow?
No.
No. Is that another of your songs?
I mean, I wrote a lot of songs in Glasgow. Run being one of them, but Chasing Cars was written in Kent.
Right. Okay. So what was the inspiration behind Chasing Cars?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It just came out pretty much fully formed, you know. So it's you know, I was in love at the time. Love is a powerful force, and sometimes you manage to write a love song that doesn't make you physically sick, and you know, it's not too saccharine, and you know, like I haven't written that many love songs. People might think that that's what we do, but it's you know, if you look back to our back catalogue, there's really not that many. Most of them are about relationships ending, not relationships flourishing. But Chasing Cars is definitely one of the latter.
Okay. I didn't even realise it was a love song.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, it's about kind of just being with someone rather than, you know, like there's a lot of doing in the world, and you know, just being sometimes is very important.
So Ward Park, you played Ward Park, the homecoming gig. How did it sort of differentiate from the last time you played? What was the differences this time round?
Well, I mean, you know, there was an all Northern Irish bill this time, as my knees crack, and the knees of a 70-year-old man. But you know, the bill, we'd never done a all Northern Irish bill. We had plenty of Northern Irish bands on the bills over the years, but this was 11 Northern Irish acts, and it was great. A great day. Every band played out of their skin. It was amazing. And it was 9 years between this one this year and the one in 2010. And you know, we were kind of advised it might not be the smartest move to try and do one, you know, 9 years apart, but we were determined that we would do it, and it was a roaring success, and we were very, very happy about it.
So I'm going to take you away from songwriting for a split second to just talk about guilty pleasures, because I mean,
there are no guilty pleasures.
Well, you might not feel guilty about this actually, but I hear you're a massive fan of a certain American game show. Is that right?
Jeopardy.
Yeah, Jeopardy.
Yeah. I'm like the hugest Jeopardy fan in the world. Yeah.
If you were on a game show, right, what would be your specialist subject, Gary?
I don't know. I think I was asked to go on a quiz show, and I was asked to go on Mastermind, I was thinking, like, well, what can you be your specialist subject? I know bits and pieces about some things. I think the most important thing in the world right now is to know that we know, all of us, none of us know very much at all in the grand scheme of things. I think rather than everybody thinking that they know everything about everything, which if you have a cursory glance at Twitter is what it seems. So I think a specialist subject would be difficult to come up with. Maybe the Beatles, maybe. I mean, I'm obsessed with the Beatles and have, you know, vinyl versions of like them singing in German and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I know I've got a deep history of the Beatles, but I still think that there would be places that I would be found out. I would be found wanting. So I don't know if I'm confident enough to go on something like that.
Well, our Q Radio News team, they did a homeless campaign recently. They just wanted me to actually thank you, because I know you were involved with that and actually won a silver award at the New York Festival Awards. But the guys as well, we were also teaming up with TransLink for Metro Sessions this weekend. It's a great platform to discover new local talent. What advice would you give to emerging artists?
Don't rush. Don't rush anything. Play a lot of live gigs before you record anything. Get confident on stage. Get confident. Rehearse a lot. Get confident with each other. Figure out if you like each other. You know, try and play, you know, any shows that you can before you think about management or think about record companies or think about stardom or think about your future. You know, like get yourself a good base to work on. I think, and I was the same when I was 18. You know, I wanted everything now. You know, like we're gonna be famous by next Tuesday lunchtime. It's, you know, this is written in the stars. It's like you have to woe those horses down. You know, I mean, it ended up taking us 10 years to have a hit, and you learn, you know, at a sort of a glacial pace, those lessons. But if I could give anybody the advice up front, it would be just take it slow.
That's it, because I think I was watching one of your interviews, and the analogy you used was like an iceberg.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was what you mean, like that platform, and have a base, like you say.
Yeah. You want it. You want your. You want your. You know, like the Beatles are a good example. You know, I mean, in Hamburg playing 2 6-hour sets a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This was their foundation. You know, it was a full year of playing shows, for drunken sailors, literally, and that's why they were so good live. And then obviously people were screaming too loud for anybody to hear anything after a while. But that's where their foundation sort of came through, and that's why there's their musicianship was so great, and they went on to make such extraordinary and innovative records, because they had a good foundation.
And
more besides that, you have to have inspiration too, of course, but you want to get a good foundation. Yeah,
and the new song, I Think of Home, we cannot get enough of it on Q Radio. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
So when you took pen to paper to write that, what were you kind of reminiscing about? Tell us about what you miss because I know you've lived in America, you've lived in Scotland as well. So what do you miss about home when you're not here?
Well, my family, is for starters, and my friends. The air smells different here than it does anywhere else. As soon as you get off the plane, I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but you get off the plane in London, something feels wrong. You get off the plane, like there's nothing wrong with London, but just like just the air. I'm talking about air quality, and I live right beside the loch here, and it's my favorite thing is walking the coastal path, they're sort of up and down, from all the way from Belfast down to Bangor or beyond. But between Hollywood and Bangor is kind of that's my happy place, where I'll just walk and write in my head and write on my phone, or like listen to music, and that's the thing I think I miss. That's the quiet that I miss. Even if you're listening to music, there's quiet involved. There's not like car horns blaring, beyond the things you're listening to. It's like there's a stillness.
And obviously that helps you when you're songwriting. Then you need.
Many things, so many songs I've written on that beach, that Crawfordburn Beach or Helens Bay Beach, or any of the little sort of inlets around there that I'm just walking up and down trying to figure lyrics out. Can
you remember where you wrote Lifening? That's my favourite song. I love that song.
Lifening was written in LA. We were in LA at the time. And I think that song is sort of resonates probably with home, with Northern Ireland, because when you're away, it's why if anybody's ever met a Boston Irish person, and we love Boston.
I've been to Boston.
They're the most Irish people you'll ever meet. And it's like when you're away from home, everything amplifies. Your home, the things that you are come to the surface. Your Irishness or your Northern Irishness or whatever it is you are.
You almost hear yourself more.
They all float up to the surface more, and that I think writing a song about home sometimes is easier when you're away from home.
Oh, it's a beautiful song. And when you say fan, you mean Teenage Fan Club, do you? I was just
always
curious. I thought it was Teenage.
Yeah, they were one of my favourite bands of all time. Yeah.
So, do you know what the Kevin Bacon game is?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, thank goodness. So it's that whole 6 degrees of separation, and you've kind of got not even 6 degrees to Jennifer Aniston. She broke the internet the other day with her Instagram. Are you following her on Instagram?
I don't follow that many people on Instagram.
Do you not do the whole social media thing?
No, I do. I do it. I keep it at arm's length. I just I dip in. I maybe post every now and again, and I come straight back.
You were great on Twitter, because it used to be my bedtime. Some people have a book. I would read your tweets as bedtime reading.
And then I stopped. But you need to kind of take. I would sort of advise anybody that sort of feels any kind of their life is too hectic. I'd stop social media first. Yeah. And see how you feel after that, because I think you'll feel better.
Yeah, I think so too. You need a bit of a break from it. But listen, thank you so much for your time. And can I say, you're glad I was daring. I was going to wear a wedding dress today.
Right, okay.
Can you imagine if I just rocked up in a wedding dress, Gary?
What would you have a groom's outfit?
Yeah. No, listen, Gary, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
This has been a dream come true to speak to you. Thank you so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you.